Welcome to Call of the Pen, your post-trade deadline episode. What in the world is going on in baseball, Steve? Like, I don't even know what's happened. We got fights. We got last night I saw someone lose or he full swing. The umpire says no, he didn't swing.
Oh, the Red Sox game?
And then he hits a homer and walk it off the next guy. That was amazing. We got
Dude.
the Angels can't buy a win. The Diamondbacks can't win. Oh man, the Braves are slow. I mean, they're still good, but starting to lose a little bit. And who else is struggling? I don't know. The Marlins are struggling.
The Marlins, big time.
Everyone's coming back after the trade deadline. I don't know what in the world. There's some trades. I don't know what happened, but let's start off with the MMA fight we saw in Cleveland. What do you got on that?
Man, first of all, I got a message later that night from our babysitter. Like, check this out. I'm like, oh, sick, a fight. I was like, oh, that's TA. TA's about to start sparring over here. I when he started setting up, like he threw his glove down, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Wow, he's like squaring up. Like this is gonna be like a legit fight. And then he squared up left-handed. I was like, uh-oh, this could be a problem.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. Yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's getting get his footwork right. I'm not a boxer by any means, but even I know that. And I mean, let's be honest though, it was a lucky punch.
It was.
It was.
But man, he just dropped. That was.
It didn't look like it caught him. That was the crazy thing, but it just hit him perfect. I think it's just boom, boom, and then I was like started to sweat. I was like embarrassed for him.
That's tough because not many people like him just because, and the fact that he starts it and then he gets knocked down, it's like people are just going to be all over him.
The comments were brutal, but I mean, as a teammate, I was only there for a short season. He was great. I appreciated. He's actually a really hard worker. Defensively, he's not very good, and I think he knew that. So going into that season, we started training at, I think it's like the Bo Jackson facility outside Chicago, and he's just picking ground balls left and right in the infield and stuff like that, just working on his craft. So I was like, I like seeing that type of stuff, and guys are grinding and putting in the work to try to get better. But I don't know. You hear all these like rumors, and I know guys on Team USA love them. So I think it's just hit or miss.
I was a fan of his when he first got called up. Just, I don't know. I liked the way he played, and then I don't know. It just seemed like as soon as they paid him, he just had this attitude about him. I don't know. When you played against him, you just didn't like him. I don't know, but I think he's won a batting title. He's a good player. I think he reminds me of some other players, and they just decide when they want to be good. And if the team's gonna compete, then he'll compete. If they're not competing, then he's over it.
And that's why I was shocked, dude, that they're struggling so bad this year. Because when I was there in 2020, I mean, he was one of the more impressive hitters I've seen approach-wise. Like, he's not afraid to take the ball the other way and also hit the ball in the gap the other way. And not many guys would do that, especially during those times.
Right.
And then you had, Abreu, if there's runners on anywhere in scoring position, he's going to, break his back to try to figure out a way to get those runs in. Yeah. And
he's tough.
1 through 9, we had a really good lineup. Our biggest hole was like Nomar Mazara, and that's when he was kind of starting to struggle a little bit. And he had, sick pop when he wanted to. It's just, now you see him this year, and you predicted it. You realize that there's something going on in that clubhouse. So it's a bummer.
If they need to hire someone that can fix culture or figure out what's wrong, they can call me.
To figure out, so you put everyone on a blast.
You just saw it coming from afar. Like, what is going on? Something's wrong. And next thing you know, the Middleton kid gets traded, blast them, like blast. But then the GM, some of the blasts weren't good. They said, like he said, a guy fell asleep in the bullpen. And then apparently they say one guy has a lot of sleep problems. So sports performance makes him take naps during the game. So I don't know if they're talking about the same guy. And then someone missed like PFPs and didn't get in trouble for it. But then the guy worked for 3 days in a row after that to try to make up for it. So I don't know. But then Lance Lynn gets traded, and he's like, that guy's not lying. So I've been there a lot longer than him. But my problem is, I don't have a problem with the guy doing it, but it's like, you're not the guy. You're not that guy that should be talking.
Yeah.
because you were a minor league sign. You should be grateful, one, they gave you a job.
Yep.
And on your way, and two, apparently you begged to stay, and then on your way out, you just blast them now, and you're not, and your numbers aren't that good. He has like a 2 WHIP over his last 20 something games, and he's got like, you might be blackballed. Don't be surprised. I got blackballed, and I didn't even say anything. I just got accused of saying something.
That's true. I wasn't gonna go there, but yeah.
No, that's exactly the first thing I thought of. I text Jesse because Jesse wrote the story. I said, man, that kid just ruined his own career. He goes, I warned him. I'm a good guy. You know it. I'm like, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying we just know how this goes. As soon as everyone thinks
Jesse wrote that article?
If they think Jesse wrote it.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. If they just think you might say something about the clubhouse, you're going to be blackballed.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I wonder if he was, I wonder if something happened to where he's like, that's it. I'm just going to air it out. You know what I mean? Like behind the scenes that we don't know about, or if he's just speaking, candidly to a reporter, that's just not smart.
Well, Jesse's the reporter.
Exactly. So like, what did Jesse do to get that information and pull that out of him? I don't know.
Jesse said, he goes, I warned him, and he said he wanted to do it anyways. I'm like, man.
Oh yeah. Wow. Hey, well, now we know.
You're not that guy. You can't do that. And don't be surprised if something happens to you.
Was Mike Fiers that guy then when he blackballed, he whistle blew the whole deal there? Yeah. You think so? Yeah. He had enough pedigree?
Oh, no. He had enough pedigree. He got a job with the A's. Luckily, the A's are the kind of team that just really liked him. But Fiers is not. I play with Fiers. Fiers is the guy that thinks he's the guy that can do that, and you're not that guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think he's in the softball league I'm about to play. I got a big game tonight, my opening day, by the way. So
I think you're back home. League. I see you're back home now.
Yeah. All my books I never read back behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Fiers does not handle success very well. He was not one of those guys that took it. Like when he was being successful, everybody in the clubhouse knew that Fiers was being successful. So
just flaunted it all.
Oh, yeah.
Had his own parade going around. Yeah.
Just stay humble. One time.
Game will humble you real quick. Back to just out of curiosity, you see a young guy in the bullpen, right? Say you're on the White Sox. He's taking a nappy. It's like the 4th inning. What are you doing?
Me?
Yep.
Like
I want the people to know. You're big league Kent at this time. You're an all-star.
Okay, I'm
okay.
There's a difference. Yeah, I'm lighting them up. But if I'm guy with 2 years in the league, I'm not the guy lighting him up. I'm not the guy blasting him in the media either.
Even if the team shrink says he needs to sleep, he needs to have his naps during the game.
Oh, if I knew that, I would not light him up.
No, I struggle with that unless he had something seriously wrong. So it sounds like he does.
No,
but
he obviously has I remember Zach. No one knows it. Remember Zach Braddock. I don't know if anyone ever knows his name, but he was with Milwaukee when I first came up. This guy was unreal, but this guy had crazy sleep apnea problem. You'd see him walking the streets in the middle of the night, like crazy problems, and this guy would never sleep. And then out of nowhere, he would just fall asleep. So there's just things that and then he had some a lot of issues off the field, like in hotels, just because he needed help. And if I knew, and luckily, I knew he needed help, so no one would ever say anything. But if I didn't know and I judged him, I would feel terrible. Yeah,
no, that's good. All right, I knew you were a good guy deep inside. I just had to ask.
Man, there's just some things you can't control, and these guys can't control that. They can't sleep.
Well, where I was going with this a little bit, I remember, so in 2016, I was with the Mariners. I lost my closing role to Edwin Diaz. I like to say I paved the way for Edwin, right? Because he's unbelievable.
Yeah, maybe you just helped him out.
But he was super humble guy. Always took care of the bullpen. When he first got called up, he'd run across the field and grab everyone Red Bulls. He's a really good kid. And then obviously he came out of nowhere. And he's just blowing doors off people. I'm like, what am I doing pitching the ninth? This is insane. So
I bet your fans are wondering the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was grinding too. I went on the IL with a hip. That's when I had surgery off that season. I'm like, I want what's best for the team here. So I remember Service was like, hey, we're going to give the job to Edwin. I'm like, you'd be a fool not to. You kidding me?
Was
Like,
that after your outing in Wrigley where you just pooped your pants
yes.
basically?
Well, yeah, it was actually So as after that outing, then the next day I gave it up to Mookie Betts. He put me in the 8th inning in a tie game, and I'm like hurting bad, and gave it up. And after that game, I threw myself under the bus. I'm like, dude, I gotta get this thing checked out. Right. Anyways,
Right.
we're getting past what I'm trying to get after here. So the next year, technically, he still is like his rookie season, and he's the closer, and he's sleeping in Colorado on a day game. And I mean, I don't
Ooh.
really say much, but I'm like, dude, you got to wake up. You're going to pitch in this game in about 3 innings. Like, we got to clean it up. This is a bad look. And he goes out there and shoves. So after that, I just put my foot in my mouth. Like, if you're going to get locked in for taking a nap, and it helps us win ball games, go for it. I don't care how old you are, whatever, So
I guess
I think it all depends.
I guess if you are performing, do whatever you got to do. But if you're a guy that's taking a nap and you don't have issues and you suck, we got problems. Like, there's certain names when we're in Wrigley in Chicago, those guys just did not show up and prepare very well at all. And then Joe would always put them in high leverage and they always gave it up. And I had serious issues with that. Like, we're putting in guys that are not prepared because, when they came up through that team, so they were babied a lot.
Yep.
Because that's how that team was brought up. And then, but
that's across the minor leagues.
Yeah, guys the whole system.
It's like when we talked to Cressy about that. It's almost like you kind of have to baby guys, but at the same time, you guys see what they're made of. Like, you have to pitch back-to-back games. They got to increase that workload. So if you're the dude in AAA, that guy's getting called up in the big leagues. Like, he's got to be able to handle the workload and be built up for it so he can handle it and perform at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's such a tricky thing because you don't want to hurt him in the minor leagues. So I don't know if there'll ever be a clear answer for that.
There never will be. But if you're a guy that shows up 5 minutes before reliever stretch, you did nothing to prepare today.
No, yeah, for sure. Yep.
And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but
yeah,
it drove me nuts.
Yeah. By the way, not a knock on Edwin. He's awesome. He's a good teammate. He's great. But the guys that don't prepare well, they think they've been getting away with it their whole career. They need to go. That's where they go through the adversity. And all right, something's got to change here. And then a veteran guy comes in. That's why you need veteran guys and shows them the ropes. Here, you need to develop a routine, kid. Like, when you're not feeling great, your routine gets you through it.
Yeah, well, that guy's not in the game anymore, so that didn't work out so
well. He's just around you too much.
Well, no, I didn't. He didn't care to listen to anybody. So, but another guy that we tried to help, I remember that guy ran in front of me while I was warming up I don't know if you remember that. I was literally warming up and he ran in front of me to go talk to girls outside the bullpen. I about lost my mind.
Oh, what? I thought you have to bring up names.
I don't got to bring up names, but he's still in the game though. So obviously he's grown up.
Has he though? I think I know who you're talking about.
Plays for your old team.
Yeah. Oh man. That was funny. I thought you were going to kill him.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, that Wrigley Field window can be troublesome. If you're trying to warm up, guys are just sticking their face against the window.
I've seen a lot of random things on that window.
Yeah. Oh.
And one of them helped a lot of rallies though.
Stropey was the ringleader of the window and throwing stuff at the window.
Good times.
I miss Pedro. He's still pitching, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's trying to make a comeback.
He's pitching in the Mexican League. I think he's dominating out there. Well, at least his Instagram videos. He does music videos now, and he's shoving in the league, it looks like. Maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we need to come up with a music video.
We should get Stropey on here. That would be great. You should hit him up.
Oh, I will. Maybe I will. Send us a link if you want Strop, or hit us up if you want Pedro Strop on here. We'll see what we can do. He's one of the greatest.
And if there's anybody that you guys want on here that you think we need to get on, send us some info. Send us a name. We'll do our best.
Yeah.
When Scherzer gets over himself, he'll be on here too.
Stropey, classic example. We're talking about earlier, guys that you hated when you played against.
Yeah.
But then you play with them, and it's like, this guy's a man. He's an absolute beast.
I thought he was like the biggest clown. Not a clown, but I was just like, man, this guy's so annoying. His hat's sideways. Da-da-da. and his antics were terrible. But then all of a sudden you meet him, you're like, wow, this guy's so nice and he's
He's like the
hilarious.
nicest dude. He works hard. He's a great teammate. He'll do anything for you.
Yeah, he's great.
Super nice guy. He's awesome.
I
And he
mean,
would
when
take the
we basically
ball.
did that dress up day, Stropey dress up travel day, you know how much he means to them if they did something like that.
Yep, totally. Oh, so that's the type of identity stuff that you need on a team like the Sox, right? They ain't doing
Yeah,
any
they got nobody like
dress
that.
up days. Yeah.
Which brings me to another guy was the Diamondbacks. Okay, we were praising they get Seawald. I'm like, yeah, this is great. And then an hour later, Chafin's traded. Like, who knows what that guy? And they haven't won a game really since. And their bullpen's been terrible. Who knows what that guy is? Kind of like a good he's funny. He's he's like a cowboy type. Who knows what he meant to that clubhouse? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Why are you getting one guy and get rid of one of your other better guys because you think a guy in AAA is just as good? That makes no sense.
Yeah, you know what hurts even worse too is Seawald gets traded over there and they're struggling, and the Mariners are killing it right now.
Yeah,
That's
that
such a gut
burns.
punch. Oh man, it's the worst. So yeah,
Not
I
that
don't
I
know,
cared,
man.
but when I got traded from Minnesota to the Nationals, which was a great team, but the Twins, the Players Express, they were so mad I got traded, but then they went off and won 12 in a row and they made the playoffs.
Such
Double
a gut
playoff share
punch.
though. Double playoff share.
Oof. Yes, right. Good for you. You probably only got a half though, so that equals one.
Yeah, you can only. Well, I was hoping one of us needs to go far, but they did the wild card and we only did division round, so
Mm-hmm.
wasn't
Yeah,
that
dude. They're
great.
two. So back to Arizona, 2-8. They've lost 6 in a row. Tough bid for the boys. Miami's in the same boat. 2-8, lost 5 in a row. Their
What are they
trade
doing?
deadline thing was weird. I don't know. What do you
This was
got?
a weird trade deadline. First, there was a lot of action, and then it just became extremely weird.
Mm-hmm. It's
The
almost like
Padres, dude, what
sorry.
the hell?
What?
I
I
mean, like
mean,
the Rich Hill. Let's go get Rich Hill.
yeah. Well, they've lost the
Doesn't.
last 2, but prior to that, they were actually on a pretty good run since the trade deadline.
I mean, the team's so talented. They're gonna. Well, the lineup has to hit. They have to hit because their
Yeah.
pitching's not so good.
Right.
And now they
You
lose.
know,
What's his face? Musgrove to the IL.
I know. By the way, I know. Thankfully, he got hyped up. Was it last year in the playoffs when he had
Musgrove.
the ear thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was getting hyped up a little bit, and deservingly so. I thought he's one of the most underrated pitchers for the last 5 years. Like when he was with the Astros, like he was really good, and then he went over to Pittsburgh and shoved there. And every time we played against him, he dominated us at
Oh,
whatever
you
team I was on. And just eat up innings and just pound the zone. And he had that little like aggressiveness to him and that chip on his shoulder. It was like one of my favorite pitchers to watch. And no one ever talked about him. I never understood it. In one sense I appreciate it. I like guys that fly under the radar and don't get any recognition for what they do and they just keep getting after it. But someone had to eventually
what happened
give him
was
props.
he was okay before, and then I guess what was it, 18 or 19? Remember when Giolito kind of changed his arm path?
Yeah.
He said he was watching Giolito, and then he changed his arm path mid-season because of that, and his breaking ball, everything sharpened up, and then he just went on a tear. He's been so much better since that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I see a lot of guys doing that nowadays, though.
Yeah, I've tried it. It hurts.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, you can imagine me with my long arms doing it. Like it was brutal. But there's this kid I was watching. So we can talk about. Well, maybe we won't get into it today. I was watching this kid in the Cape League. He's pitching for, I think it was Hyannis Mets, a lefty, little skinny kid, and he was throwing low, 90 to 93 with this wipeout slider. I'm just listening to the hitters talk about it, and he, they're like, this thing is sweeping across the plate. It's got 20 inches of movement, 3,000 spin, all this crazy stats, and he can locate it, which is the most impressive thing. And he does this. He had this similar arm path as the Giolitos, and I'm like, man, I wonder if these guys do this because everyone I've seen do it spins the ball like crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know what Giolito's spin rate is because he's got a phenomenal changeup. That's what makes him. But
yeah, his slider sucks.
But his fastball, his changeup plays really well off his fastball. That's what makes him so effective. I watched him throw a no hitter in the COVID year, and it was just fastball, top zone, changeup all day, and it was so fun to watch. But I wonder
It's like
if
he hides it really well too. Like you never
I
see the
think.
ball.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think the thing is, guys are realizing that they can hide the ball and spin it, better than they
Yeah.
were before. And for Giolito, like his command was terrible with his longer arm slot. So when he shortened up, he's commanding a ball like 10 times
Yeah.
better. I don't know, something to it.
More efficient movement, I guess. I mean, I know
Yeah.
sometimes when I feel like I cleaned up my arm path, I had great years. So there's got to be something to it. I don't know if I actually ever did, but at least I felt like I was.
Right, right. Well, let's
And
get
then
back.
next year,
Let's
I'd be
go.
like, I'm going to try to do that again, but I forget how to do it and then just suck. It's the
Let's get
worst.
back to one more team, the Angels, dude.
Oh, your team.
It breaks my heart. It's so tough to watch. 2-8 in their last 10, 8 games back now. It's like
That's done.
Seattle just swept them, and they had a chance.
You could have
And they
gotten
won
like,
the first game against the Braves. I'm like, all right, they played
yeah,
pretty well against them, and that was their last win.
you could have gotten like 10 players for Shohei, and now you're not going to make the playoffs. And oh,
I feel so bad. I feel
the problem
brutal
is
for
two
them.
of them losses have been in the ninth inning with a lead. That is crushing for at this time of year, and I feel bad
It's
for Estevez.
yeah, he's had a phenomenal first half, and he could still have a great year. Just 2 outings, they just man, they just bury you when we can't afford to lose those games, and that just buries the team.
Well, let's say he gives it up the rest of the year and be like, "Oh, we had a great year, or we had a great first half." Like, there's a big
Great
difference.
first half. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
And he's got one more year under contract, so it's like, let's say
now's
they
when it
keep
counts.
trending in this. What's that?
Now's when it counts. I need you now. Like, that was
I
great. You
know,
had a great first half. Thank you, but
but it's like, what are they going to do next year? Like, if Shohei's not going to sign back, they got to just trade everyone away, or what?
well, I think they're going to give me a spring invite. That'd be great.
Let's go. That'd be a good place for you to go.
It would be a good place. I've never played on the West Coast.
Good changeup pitching coach. You love him.
Just let me hit it. Give me a third baseman to hit it at. I don't care. Just let me hit as many rockets as you can right at the third baseman.
That's right. Outs are outs. But I do remember you telling me loud outs are going to catch up to you someday. I was like, save
They
it,
do.
dude. Let me just bask in my glory for a minute. All right. Anyways, good teams, right? Obviously, the Dodgers. We knew they were going to figure it out.
Still don't like their bullpen.
Atlanta is going to be good. They're the best team in baseball, dude. How about Baltimore though? They're actually they're tied pretty much with Atlanta for best team in baseball. Both have 70 wins. Orioles have played 2 more games, so they've lost 2 more games. So it was 70 and 42. But man, that's a scary team. Those kids are hungry over there.
They're deep, like deep. Like I watched the game the other day. Nothing crazy exciting. Like no one comes up the plate. I don't get excited when anyone comes up the plate, but they're just a solid team. Their starters just keep them in the game just enough. The bullpen, obviously, with the big guy at the end, who is ridiculous.
Bautista, yep.
Oh my gosh.
He is insane. Here's the thing though. There is a but. I don't know if you've watched or seen their bullpen usage. It is not good. They have 3 guys that have thrown over 50 appearances already this year.
That's on pace for 80.
It's a lot, right? So it kind of reminds me of like, now they'll probably be okay this year, but are they going to have enough gas in the playoffs? And 2, how's this set them up for the next couple of years? There's no way those guys can handle a workload like that and be effective for the next 3 years or something. It just happened with the Rays. I feel like a couple of years ago, they did the whole, it's like almost like college philosophy where the starter's not going deep enough, like pull them right away. You're getting no leash. Get their bullpen's phenomenal, so we're going to run on those boys. And then what happens in the end? They blow everyone out and they run out of gas. It just catches up to you. That's what freaks me out.
Your guy Davey Martinez told me when I first on a plane flight one time in his rookie
I don't want to hear it.
year. What?
I know what you're gonna say. It hurts me to hear it.
He says, and I quote, this is a serious quote. He said, "Joe taught me to just kill the relievers because you could always get another one." And I could not believe this guy was telling me this to my face as I'm like, me, Doolittle, and Matson are going 4 out of 5 every week. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the new way. Cano's approaching 50 innings. Let's see. Batista, I think he's at or not 50 innings. I'm sorry, appearances.
What's his
Batista's at
numbers right
48
now?
appearances. Who, Batista or Cano?
Cano. It looked like he was
Cano?
coming back to earth for a while.
No, I mean he's at 1.86 ERA, but you know, his this is the most this is going to be the most he's thrown in his career in a season.
And he's got a 2.3 WAR, which is what I was telling you. Like a good year is where you should be at.
No, you're right. Yeah, Batista's workload. This is going to be the most he's going to probably ever throw. So that's not good. Who else? Who else was I thinking of here?
Oh, you know who's gone 3 in a row? Sorry, off to Finnegan. It's gone 3 in a row. Like, what are the Nats doing? By the way, that's sorry, your boy Davey. Hey, back to Baltimore, but that's just what Davey does. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, well, because Finnegan's an animal. That dude, he was like that last year though too. Because he by the way would be one of your favorites.
Really?
Because he is a super prepare guy in the weight room every single day, eats well, like sleeps well, like good family man. I mean, he's the perfect guy to handle a workload like that. I don't know anything about the Baltimore guys, but I mean, if there's anyone that can handle it, it's Finnegan for sure.
All right, Cano's at 49 games, 53 innings. I'll put him at 73 innings. At least.
At the least, yeah. But you know what's funny? Is all the old heads would hear something like this and be like, "Oh, really? Like Dennis Eckersley threw like 150 innings, and as a reliever and threw multiple, and as a closer." I'm like, okay, great. Like he's not. No offense, like Dennis Eckersley, unbelievable Hall of Famer, right? But he's not going against the talent level that these guys are going against, and the workload's not the same. These guys are throwing 100 miles an hour. I don't know.
Anytime I went 70, I mean, anytime I was like 70 plus, my next year was just a little bit of a down year, like every time.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, I get it though. Like, what are you gonna do if you're the manager? You're getting paid to win ball games. If you're Hyde, like you have to go by this formula. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing. I'm just saying like at some point you got, hopefully this offseason they go out and get like an elite starter to complement this group. They got Flaherty over there.
Good pickup.
Hopefully help them out. Yeah. I love his stuff. Yeah. I know he's having a kind of down year, but he also started off rocky.
He shoved the first outing though.
Yeah. So maybe change the scenery with him. And he's a guy, so shoves, he eats up innings. Oh man. So you're a bullpen and you're going in the game routinely in the 4th or 5th inning every single game, and all of a sudden you ring over a Flaherty and he goes and shoves and goes deep into a game. It's like, like this is it. Thank goodness.
We are buying you dinner so many times if you keep doing that. Every other outing, you're just like, oh my gosh, can we please just can we call the long guy or something?
Yeah, it's like when Lester, Hendricks, and like Hamels would, get in a groove when they're rolling. Like the bullpen's like, yes, let's go.
And then like me and you got to rotate days. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. So starting pitching, man, going deep goes such a long way. It's an undervalued thing. I feel like, tell me the Marlins.
Remember when Darvish would throw like 80 pitches in 4 innings and we'd just be falling asleep and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is the worst pitcher I ever want to watch. And then somehow he just cleaned it up and got so much better.
Yeah. In 19, he was like the man again. That was fun to watch, by the way.
He was so good to watch. Tough to watch.
Early on. Oh yeah, it was tough. But man, is he good? He's still good.
Still good.
He's so good. Oh man. Anyways, what was the other? Let's go back to the standings here. What's up?
How about off the chart? Anthony Rizzo playing all those games with a concussion.
Oh yeah, that's crazy, dude.
That is crazy. Like, one stand-up guy, never complained. Probably talked to the media, took it, never complained, never said any excuse. But man, how crazy is that?
He's tough, man. And for him to say something is wrong, let's talk about this. Probably the most impressive thing, actually, 2 of the most impressive things I've seen were both on the Cubs teams. One was him playing through a grade 2 ankle sprain.
Yeah, that was bad.
Listen,
and hit a homer. He hit a homer. Oppo.
Exactly. If you saw this ankle in the locker room the day he played, it was insane. I couldn't believe he was even walking on it, let alone playing in a Major League Baseball game and then hitting an Oppo tank.
It was purple and a balloon.
Ridiculous. I mean, his pain tolerance is incredible. And then Strope, the year before, was it the year before? Yeah,
His hamstring. Yeah.
he blew out his hammy trying to sprint to first against the Nationals. It was so devastating for our bullpen because we love the guy and we needed him. He was pitching really good.
Yeah. That was like a
And
grade
then he
2 or
goes
grade
in
3.
and pitches. Yeah, it was bad. And then he pitched against the Rockies and shoved for 1 inning. And it was like in the locker room, like, that's it. I blew this thing out, and he could barely walk.
They
after
wrapped the
that.
heck out of that thing. Like, he said he was in so much pain. And I
It was
gained a lot of,
incredible.
and I was, when Rizzo came, I was nursing my oblique, and I'm like, if this guy is going out there, okay, my oblique's fine. I'm going to go out there. And they never pitched me, but made me feel like such a wimp.
Yeah, right. Oh man, those guys were gamers, man. It was fun to witness, and
That was amazing.
Unfortunately-
What he did, that was amazing. Rizzo and Stropey.
Yep.
Stropey, and he shoved. He shoved. He had a great inning. Probably, I think he had a couple punches.
he
If
shoved.
we would have won that game, I don't think he would have been available for the next series. There's no chance.
No, he was done. He's like, I can't, I can't go anymore. Right after he walked in the locker room, I think he came in after me, and we were like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Like that was insane." And he's like laughing with his laugh, like, "That's it, dude." He's like limping bad. Like I blew it out, like hardcore. Like blew it out. And we're like, "No way." He's like, "I'm done, guys. Like hopefully we win this and you go get him." And
Ooh, I would have been. Maybe I would have been on the roster again after that. Who knows?
yeah, there you go. That was your entry. Man, we couldn't win that game. All right, last thing.
All right.
Going forward from this point right now, who's winning the World Series?
The World Series.
Yeah, what team do you think has the best chance to win the World Series after the deadline? Where the teams are at right now?
Oh, I mean, I don't. Verlander doesn't do anything for me on the Astros. He's not throwing 98 anymore. So I got to go with the Braves. I got to go Braves.
Yeah, Braves is the easy choice, right?
I mean,
I'm gonna.
You could say Baltimore. I think Baltimore will get in, and they're competitive, and then they probably win it like next year or the year after. Like you have to earn your stripes to win it.
Yep. All right, you ready? I'm gonna go against you. I would have said Houston before. It's such a coin flip for me between Houston and Texas, and they're in the same division.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Houston over Texas.
Again, Houston back to back. You know how hard it is to win the World Series back to back?
I think they're gonna do it. I've seen those guys. They got that edge about them too. That's gonna be my pick for now. I'm talking about for right now.
Right now, okay. You know who I would love to pick, but I just can't get there? Is the Phillies.
Really? Why?
They're such a good team, but the problem is, and I love Schwarber, but you got a guy hitting a $170 in your leadoff spot. I can't hop on with that. And you got
but you know why? Like,
you might hit a first pitch homer. I get it.
He's gonna get on base, or he has a first pitch homer, or leadoff homer. That just sets the tone for the game. Like the starting pitcher's like sick. I got to face like a guy that hits the ball 500 feet. Like if I put anything in the zone, he's gonna crush it. Or he doesn't really chase much, but hopefully I can get him to chase. And if not, I'm walking him.
But if he comes up with runners on, I'm not nervous because he's a $170 hitter.
Right.
Anyways, that's why I can't get on the Phillies. I really like the Phillies team.
Because of Schwarber? Come on. I don't know. He catches fire.
He hits the leadoff. He was a 9 hitter. I wouldn't jump on it, but he hits leadoff.
I got to put Schwarber at the 9 hitter. I don't care what his batting average is. He's so dangerous. At any moment,
50,000 guys in AAA that hit bombs and hit a $170.
Yeah.
Remember Chris Carter that played for the Brewers and the A's?
He's punching air right now. He would have a job on any major league team.
Yeah. He hits 40 bombs, hits a $170, and barely gets a job the next year. Then he's out of the game. Now he's playing in Mexico, but he's like a god in Mexico right now. But he's exactly what Schwarber is. Exactly. Probably just doesn't walk.
I don't know. I don't think they're the same. I think Schwarber's approach is a lot better than Chris Carter's was. Chris
Okay,
Carter
but the
would swing
stat
at
line's the
everything.
same. We're hitting 40 bombs and we're hitting a buck 70 and
Can we get a
striking out a
stat geek on
ton.
here to show us who would be better, Schwarber or Chris Carter? No disrespect to Chris Carter, but I just don't think it's the same player. I just don't.
It's not the
I
same
see what
player,
you're
but the
saying.
stat line's the same.
All right. I want
Let's
to see
put
the
Chris
behind the
Carter in the
scenes
leadoff spot and see what happens.
That'd be awesome. He's a massive human being.
He needs a fastball. Just needs a fastball. You throw him that slider and better be hanging, but he needs a fastball.
Yep, he could hit a fastball a mile.
But it really looked like he was trying to hit gnats with that bat. Like he could not hit the ball.
Until he did.
He's a big human. He lives in Vegas.
He'd kill you. Yeah. Oh, he's in Vegas. You're done. All right, dude. Well, hey, that was good.
Right.
It's good to share some stories. Unintentionally, by the way, we just kind of launched into that, but this is like locker room banter, man. That's why we love doing this.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad I was right about the White Sox. I'm so glad. Jesse Rogers tweet at us that I was right, please.
You just like being right about anything. Don't mind the White Sox.
I should be a GM.
Let's go.
This ain't that hard.
I don't know. You're not going to sleep at all.
Let's talk about that next time. This morning, I didn't sleep. Anyway.
Let's get a GM on here. I think we can get a GM on here someday.
What GM would have the balls to come on and talk to us? There's no chance. Don't you have any GM friends? Get Sam on here. That'd be great.
Gomes, a fold maybe, or Gomes, right? With the Dodgers.
Gomes. You said Gomes would to the Dodgers. I would love to.
I don't know if he would. We might be able to. So, anyways, all right, dude.
All right, man.
Have a good one. Good talking.
All right, later.